I want to talk about these emotions, y'all. Emotions and being emotional. Being an emotional creature. How we make our decisions through emotions, how we feel or don't feel. I don't know if it's emotions or being reactive. Being reactive. We're so quick to react. So you do something rather quickly, and then after a little moment, or you regret it because you didn't allow yourself time to think or process. You literally reacted from the emotion. So I have a whole list. So these are those emotions, and being reactive or not being reactive is something that I have been earnestly working on, to be able to hear things, see things, experience things, go through things, and not be so reactive, especially in a negative way. Yeah, not to be so emotional. So when a person becomes more enlightened and more awake, of their walk, of their journey, it's not like you just become perfected or anything, right? But what's perfected in the awakening is that you become more of an observer. So now you're able to see yourself in things. You're able to see your reaction to situations. Like as they're happening, as they're transpiring, you're seeing how you're reacting. Like you're questioning yourself of, you're bringing your attention to like, okay, why are you reacting this way? As you're reacting. So that would be like awake. Like you're awakened to be able to observe yourself, right? So, okay, so this is my recent example. Said it's all about emotions. Said emotions make me cry sometimes. Okay, I'm back. My recent example is, okay, so this was just recent. My son was in the hospital or whatever. For whoever doesn't know, my son was shot like on the 10th, October 10th. My son was shot several times, right? So we went through a long process getting everything together, of course, step by step, things were happening. So when we were dealing with the tubes we went in, the tubes came out. Thought he was straight, had to go back in. Came out again, we're like, okay, yeah, the second time, okay, we're good. No, they had to go back in, and that happened like 3 or 4 times. But like that third time, like the second time when it was out, that we were so sure because he had even went and had surgery. He had the tubes in twice. He went and had surgery. So after the surgery, I'm like, we good. Like after the surgery, we good. The tubes were back in after surgery, but I'm like, we're good after this. So they're like, we're gonna take them out, after the surgery. And I'm like, okay, we good. We had the surgery, tubes back out. For sure we're good. And they came back and they like, we got to put the tubes back in. And I became so reactive in that moment. I mean, which, one might say, that's understanding, right? That's understandable. That's understandable in that situation to be emotional, to allow your emotions to kind of take over, right? But for me, especially now I look back on it, it's funny to me now. I look back on it and it's like, what did that reactive emotion do? What did it add to the situation? It had me crying and sobbing, and it had me like weak in my stomach, like maybe I even had, and I'm sure it did have other people that was around, other nurses or whatever, in more of a emotional state, a hyper stance, because I was so emotional. Maybe even I scared my son a little more because he see how emotional I am in the situation. So it's like, what do you add to the situation with the way that you're reacting? So now hindsight 2020 is like, I just see myself as so dramatic. It was so dramatic. It's like I was doing what was programmed to do. Like this is a certain type of situation where you're in the hospital, you're dealing with your health, I could say maybe life and death situation type thing, so we're programmed to react emotionally, for tears to run and to cry and to, oh my, so dramatic. But we have been so conditioned in so many different areas that we don't even see things. We see it as normal. Like that's normal, right? Because we're in a hospital. So it's normal to be like, oh my God. It's not normal to take it in as, okay, so the tubes have to go back in. Oh, all right. Okay, so this is the third time. Are you sure that the tubes have to go back in? Oh my God. Son, I am so sorry that it has to come back in the third time. Oh my, okay, doctors. Okay, so are we gonna do this now? So do you think that this third time would help and fix the problem, or how do you think that's gonna go? A different way to respond. Staying calm. No panic. Because panicking and crying is only adding to the dramaticism of the situation. Like, really? So I'm able to see. What are you doing? Stop. Leave him alone. Go in there. Go in there. So now I'm able to sit back and see that situation, which that wasn't the only one. I see other situations I go through and realize how dramatic I be. Because I'm just conditioned like that, like this is a time to be dramatic, and it's like, oh no, y'all should have saw me, I'm not really laughing at myself, but I'm just able to observe myself and see ways of being better. I wouldn't even say the word controlled, but just being more available. That would be a good word right there. Like more available. I could have been more available. I could have even allowed someone else to be the emotional one and me to have my center. Because at the end of the day, I knew that whatever was going to happen was going to happen. So me being dramatic was only raising the situation. Is it making sense? Or is it's fine to see? I don't know. But I do admire my growth. So So what is that? What is that when you're going through something, you went through something, and you're able to go back and retrack what happened and evaluate what happened, how you responded, what was a better way to respond, That is like awakening to yourself. Yeah, that is like a part of enlightenment. That's a part of the ascending process when you're able to observe yourself carefully, and become a better version of yourself. So, working on not panicking, because it doesn't help anything. Not panicking. So these emotions. Yeah. So I feel like this message is going to be really good for someone, because when you hear it, something is going to transpire after it that is going to really help you. Like you're going to laugh because you're like, man, I just heard that video. I just heard that lady. I just heard Dadrina talking about this. So I'm going to react differently, right? I don't know why I had to say dare you. Like, I dare you. Like, okay, so there's a situation where, okay, within that situation, programming would tell you that you have the right to be angry. You got the right. Like this happened and this happened and this happened and they said that. So conditioning, programming would say, be angry. Like, this is a situation where you be angry. I dare you not be angry. I dare you not be dramatic. I dare you. I dare you find another way to react to that situation that appears like you could be angry. Because again, what is that emotion that you're displaying, the emotion that you're displaying in the situation? How is it effective? How is it helping? Like, instead of just, well, this is a situation where I can be mad and be angry. Yeah, you might feel like you have that right because this happened, because blah, blah said that to you, and because you seen blah, blah, blah do this to you, and, he lied to you, so I can be angry. But once you realize that being angry is not effective in the situation, then you find another way to react. So I say another way to react, but honestly, you become non-reactive to certain situations, especially when they're negative and they're toxic. Then you become non-reactive. All right? So whatever you're doing, whatever you're displaying, you're giving your energy to. So if someone's coming to you with negativity, so you say, I'm going to react back in a negative and toxic way, all you're doing is giving away your energy to the situation. That's all you're doing. So it's like, how effective was that? That wasn't effective at all. All you're doing is just giving yourself away. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to say it like that. You're giving yourself away. You're giving yourself away for free. I'm laughing, but a lot of these situations really don't be funny. Like, really. So even with that, I could tell my story of more recent, dealing with my son being shot. I feel like is that not a situation where you supposed to programming this world? Conditioning would tell you, yeah, if you have a son that gets shot several times, that it's okay for you to be angry. But it's like, how effective is that going to be? What is that going to help? Right? So at the beginning, when it first went down, yes, I responded so negatively. I responded in anger and frustration. However, I allowed myself to catch up with myself in what was going on, and I came out of the spirit of anger because it wasn't helping the situation at all. And I became more observant in the situation, right? So that's when my focus turned away from anger and away from who shot my son to my son, and sending all my positive energy to him, being the one that got shot, to be sure that he had the best positive energy going towards him, instead of my anger, my energy towards in anger towards the person that did it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't make me say it again. You feel me? So in those type of situations, you have to be very sure of what you're doing and what you're saying in those moments. Say life or death situation. Yes, life or death situation. You want to know how I feel? Had I continued to give my energy and my power in anger to the person who shot him, instead of my positive energy to my son, I feel like my son would not be here. That's how I feel. Okay? So even when you feel like you have the positioning to be upset and angry, you want to gather yourself, okay? You want to be grown, okay? You want to be an adult about it. And not allow yourself to be sucked in to negative bull. All right. And it's not easy all the time. I say that in a lot of my videos. I mean that. Okay? It's not easy all the time to be and to remain positive. All right. So to the people that do and do attempt to, people that try, then, you know, I say, hey, I get a round of applause to you. All right. But they're coming to you right now with some BS. You understand what I'm saying? And I dare you to rise above it. All right. And like look down on the situation. You know, that's how I do a lot of situations. I look down on it as if my energy is too expensive to give it my time. Because, you know, they say time is money, right? So I can't afford to give no toxicity my time. Yeah, I began to care a little more about myself. You feel me? But yeah, I'm going to end this video right here. And I'm going to send you guys love and light. And hit the subscribe button if you like. Press like as well. Leave me a comment. Feel free. Okay? Feel free.